Hi, I'm Saba Taj. I am a visual artist based out of Durham, North Carolina. I'm coming to you from my home studio, which was once a dining room, but is now a space full of my art supplies, which are quite varied, as I do mixed media paintings and collage, and also make garments and do performance work as well. Um, I'm really excited to talk to y'all about my piece Layla and Orchids, which was included in the North Carolina Artist Exhibition at the Contemporary Art Museum in Raleigh. I'm really honored to be included with so much amazing work, and besides so many wonderful artists whom I admire. So this painting is a portrait of my wife. She's reclining in a bed of oversized orchids with a field of silver glitter behind her. It is part of a series of portraits that I am currently working on as the post-MFA fellow at the Center for Documentary Studies with their Documentary Diversity Project. The aim of this project is to bring diverse voices, folks from marginalized communities who are making work by and for and about their own communities, recognizing the importance of, us being storytellers for our people, and how crucial it is that we have individuals who can really speak from the inside out about who we are. This series is documenting queer Muslims, but I really wanted to hold back from trying to specifically define these individuals, or trying, I don't want to necessarily make sense of them to the public. And there's a number of different things that you'll see throughout the series that are also very visible in Layla's portrait. There's a bit of surrealism that's happening in terms of the scale and the environments, the spaces that my subjects are depicted in, as well as this back and forth between, showing them it is a portrait of somebody and also masking their appearance, kind of hiding them, if you will. And this kind of tension between being seen and not being seen is one that I find to be a really important component of the work. It can be very difficult actually to try to describe ourselves within the language that is available for us to talk about our identities and our humanity. And there's almost a freedom that comes with not being seen. Unfortunately, that's not the only side of that, but those were some of the things I was going back and forth with, in the way that I was treating the figure and treating the body in the work. So there's that piece, as well as in every portrait there is a direct gaze from the subject, from the sitter. And one of the things that I did in taking photos that I worked from was I asked the subject to look at me. And this is quite a subtle distinction, in that I think we often perform for the camera. There's a way that we change ourselves in order to receive the gaze. And so I was interested in how I could maybe capture, instead of the person in the portrait being the recipient of the gaze only, but really someone who is giving the gaze back. And I think that's not just through the direction of someone's eyeballs, but also an energetic difference that again was important to me that these portraits retained a kind of power for the person. That I'm also really interested in the concept of liminality, and there are some interesting manifestations of this concept of liminality in Islam, actually. There's this word barzakh, which describes the place where salt and fresh water meet. It's almost like a line or an isthmus between the salt and the fresh water, and it's a space that is neither salt nor fresh water, and also both salt water and fresh water. And so it's this liminal area. It's also there's other applications for it within Islam as well. But this concept of the liminal space, kind of between fantasy and reality, and between binaries, essentially, is conceptually really interesting to me. And so in this work, not only is liminality kind of embodied by the individuals who are depicted in the series, it's also described in the environments that they're in. So we kind of get this back and forth between fantasy and reality that's happening, where you have a somewhat accurate likeness that's occurring, but also, you know, oversized orchids and you know, yes, fields of glitter and other kind of transformations and unexpected things happening with the physical space that the figures are in. Obviously, you know, as you can see, I really love adornment. It's something that comes into my work regardless of the medium. There's quite a lot of glitter in this painting, especially for its scale. It's about 66 inches by 68 inches, so quantity wise there is a lot of reflection happening because there is so much glitter on that painting. And then finally, I think it's really important to me to bring a certain mood to this, a kind of softness, a kind of comfort, and beauty and tenderness into this project. And obviously in painting my wife, there's, you know, it's easy to kind of elicit those feelings. And it's also a sweet thing we kind of share in our identity. And so it's beautiful to be able to make a portrait of her, and I think pretty powerful to kind of get that connection that I have with her and transform that into Layla and Orchids. Finally, I'm super thrilled by the grand prize award that I earned for this painting in the North Carolina Artists Exhibition, and it's just, I mean, it's incredible to have my work honored in this way, and really it's affirming and validates what I'm doing, and you know, it's just more motivation to never stop. But anyhow, I'm excited to be looking at art with people in real life, and in the meantime, thank you Cam, thank you to Fine Arts Raleigh, and you know, all the folks who are a part of putting this exhibit together, to Nat Trotman, the juror, and to all the folks who are out there supporting artists at this time and always. There's a lot of artist funds, relief funds out right now. If there's one in your local area, I know there's one for North Carolina at large, for Wake County, for Orange County, for Durham. If you are able, please donate to those and help to continue to support the arts through these challenging times. And I can't wait to see y'all on the other side. So I'm really quite focused on completing this body of work, and expect that it will continue to grow, especially when travel restrictions are lifted. There are some more subjects I'm interested in including, but you know, in the meantime, I just try to never stop making, and continue to be engaged in a creation practice of some kind. So I've got some ideas of the projects that I want to pursue next, and some other sewing related projects that are a bit different that I might pursue in the meantime. And yeah, my fellowship ends officially at the end of June, so after that I'll be looking for work. I'll be looking for opportunities to show this collection, and really excited for when we can actually be in physical space. It's been kind of a strange thing to be sharing this work only through virtual platforms. It's sparkly and they're big, and it's really difficult to kind of impart what they look like. So I'm just so thrilled for whenever I can share these works in real life. If you'd like to follow me and see about new work I'm making or upcoming shows, you can find me on Instagram at It's Saba Taj. That's ITSSABATAJ. I'm also on the web, www.itsabataj.com.